Today is October 11th, 2022.
Wow.
Grand Rising, Elizabeth. Thank you for joining us this morning. At 9 a.m., we will close our social media and continue on Zoom only. Join us by getting your Zoom link at elizabethvisionaryconference.org. We will be there until 10 a.m. You can join us now, and we'll see you in the Elizabeth Zoom room. Today, your hosts are Mama Raziya Curtis, Andrea Hetheru, and Deitra Covington.
Did I mess up?
Enjoy.
Well, we'll know how we got to fix that. I had the wrong picture up there. Ashe, thank God for what do you call it? Editing.
Right.
The ability to know when you have to go back and fix it. It's all right.
It's
Well, we got to see our
alright.
sister's beautiful face today anyway.
Yeah.
Send them our love.
Grand Rising, Queens.
Grand rising. It's a brand new day.
It's a brand new day. Open up my
Not stay
blind.
down.
Uh-huh. All right. So today we have a special guest. And we're going to get started with a card pull and a little exercise. Y'all know me. All right. So today I'm going to pull from the African Goddess Rising cards. Doo-doo-doo. The beautiful. I remember when my cousin gifted me these cards, I immediately went online and looked for the sister who did them, who the creator is, and the artist, and told them thank you. Because I just thought they were so beautiful. Well, I got somebody different today. Atete. Let's see. Let's see what her number is. 14, which is the day of my birthday. Woo woo. 14 in the house. She is the goddess of worthiness. Oromo, Ethiopia. Temple of the warriors, the element of the bush. Great goddess Atete, queen of the gods, is a fierce protector of women and girls for the Oromo people of Ethiopia. Her guidance is to stop hiding, shrinking, and playing small. Stand tall like the majestic sycamore tree. You are mighty. Life does not need to be perfect for you to embrace your own perfection. I like that. Embodiment. You matter. Worthiness is your veins. Accept yourself now. Your birth certificate says that we need you overflowing. I'm sorry, let me read it again. Your birth certificate says that we need your overflowing magic, joy, and vulnerability. And most importantly, we need you. You are deserving and worthy. The beautiful parts of you that everyone likes are worth loving. The parts that you or others dislike are worth loving too. Your creator loves you unconditionally. Goddess declaration, I matter.
I matter.
All right.
I matter.
I
Everybody.
matter.
I
matter.
I
matter.
matter. Thank you.
Matter. I bet whatever happens today is gonna speak to all of that. It was already set in stone. Adrienne is in agreement. All right, so for our exercise today, we are gonna go deep, deep, deep inside. Deep, 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 deep inside. Okay, so I want us to focus and go into our most innermost core self. It's in the middle. It's the middle. So I just want you to take in a nice cleansing breath using that diaphragm. So that means that your tummy will fill up with air. And then you will exhale. Imagine the belly button touching the spine. So you want to keep the chest still and focus the movement in the belly. Okay? As you do that, I like for us to open up the core and push down to the base chakra. And then on the exhale, you're going to squeeze and pull it up behind the belly button. But I want you to imagine 3 spaces there. You have the base, which is at the top of your pelvic bone. That'll be space number 1. Space number 2 is the belly button. And then space number 3 is between the pelvic bone and the belly button. Okay? So you got it. We're going to be 1, 2, and 3 is here. Okay? So those are the 3 spots we're going to work. So as you inhale.
Vidyard is my go.
Sorry.
That's all right. Mama, you can put on a little soft music there. I can see you're all prepped up and ready. So again, just focus on your breath, and we're just going to do an exercise to move up and down our core. So the first breath, to inhale, you're going to push down to the root chakra. And exhale, number 1, we're just going to bring our center up to the top of the pelvic bone on the exhale. And then as you inhale, you're going to take it back down to the root chakra. Second exhale, you're going to go up to behind the belly button. You're moving your center. Position number 2. And then inhale on the belly, move down to the root chakra, and then come up to position 3 between the belly button and so just keep doing that cipher. 1, 2, 3. As you breathe. As you do that, when you're doing your inhale, this time you want to imagine that you're all the way at position number 2. And I want you to gradually push back down. You're going to pulse. You're going to go, or I should do this. Here, here. You're going to pulse down to your, when you inhale, okay? Inhale, and then as you exhale, you're going to pulse down from position number 2. Pulse, pulse, pulse. Inhale, fill back with air. Back to the center. And then pulse, pulse, pulse as you release the air. As you release your breath.
Mama Hetheru, can you explain why that's important or what the significance of it?
We are exercising our yoni space, our core. Some people, I don't know, sometimes we're in a group where I don't know if people are, I just use the word core. So we're squeezing our yoni space, and I use the word core for people who may not be, because all of us have a core, male and female. Binary, non-binary, we all have that core, and so that's why I'm using that term. But I'm really talking about our yoni space.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. And it's to exercise it, to be aware of it, to acknowledge it, and to know that it is a part of us. Okay?
Okay.
All right. Thank you. So now, as we're doing our exercises, you want to begin to imagine yourself. So if it's a sphere, you want to imagine yourself squeezing north and south, if you will. So you want to squeeze north and then south. So I'm giving you opposites. So whichever your north and south is, let's say it's here, you'll squeeze one, the front and the back, if you will, of your sphere, okay? Of your internal. So just imagine yourself squeezing front and back. And then on the next part, you want to think east and west. So one is side to side and one is front to back. So you want to squeeze your feet, shifting the energy from right to left and from front to back. Just take some time. wide and tall. Sit on your sit bones. Shoulders are round, back and down. Chin is parallel to the floor. Face is this. Might even get a little tickle. Then I want you to imagine taking the squeezes around in a circle. Okay, so you go front, right, back, and left. Front, right, back. Do that maybe 4 times and then go the opposite direction. Front, left, back, right. Front, left, back, right. Tell myself relax. Take a couple breaths. Inhale and exhale. As we go throughout our adventure today, our journey, I want you to just be aware. And every once in a while, I might shout out the number 1 or 3 or 2. Just know that we're still moving inside, okay? So we want to just give awareness to the inner core. Okay? That will conclude our session for our movement, but it's always ongoing. Okay?
I'm ahead.
Yes, ma'am.
First, she is very happy, okay? She's never had that much a direct attention without other things happening or expectation of other things coming forth.
Yes.
All right.
Coming forth, coming. We'll play on words. And not ever that much attention in my mind to her in just exercising her.
Yeah.
And so when you use the word, when you were talking about when Deitra asked you about the core,
Yes.
core in exercising to me means your belly. So go ahead and tell us the area. If they are new, they need to know that it's the vagina, it's your pussy, it's your, so that they go right in, because they can't deny those words. Core is always, your core, your stomach and your belly and stuff. So yeah, you got to be direct with us. Don't, play. And if they don't know, like you said, some people, you don't know who's all on here and stuff. Well, they need to know those things. And they all know what those things are, so that they can focus right in on her. And they'll probably experience what I experienced, that they never have experienced that.
Yes.
59 years old,
Thank-
and somebody
thank you.
telling me to work on her, to exercise her,
Right.
like I said, without expectation of other things happening. And nothing inside to go against. And, thank you for this today. And do be very, very, very point blank with the sisters. We've been and played around. Everybody, ain't nobody 10 years old or 20 years old. We've been with her for a long time. and we need to know what she is called, and we need to know
Right,
what
right.
part of that body directly and how important it is to just to do that, you know.
That's
Thank
true.
you for allowing that, because I usually am with, with my words, and there were a couple times that words were used and people were like turned off by it, or some sisters, even though, yeah, okay, I got it. Thank you for inviting me. Listen, Adrienne, I've been learning. Thank you for the invitation to use the words that I would rather use.
Yeah, we're in the kitchen, girl.
We're in the kitchen. We're in the kitchen.
Talk about
All
everything
right.
in the kitchen.
Queen, I'm gonna need the screen share.
Okay. Okay, back to you, Mama Head.
All right. Y'all know me. We need to go and do our roll call, shaboogie, check us out. Roll call, shaboogie, check us out. My name is Het. Hey, and I'm a yoni. Hey, and I like to call my pussy. Yeah.
My name is Queen. I'm a Dooney. I am happiness all around me. I like my yoni. I like my pussy. I like to exercise her. It don't matter.
Who's next? Who's next?
My name is Deitra. Hey,
Hey.
and I'm Infinity. Yeah. And it's so great to be here. Yeah. Okay, next.
Roll
My name is
call,
Mama
shaboogie.
Evelyn. Hey,
Hey.
and I'm a yoni.
Hey.
And I am happy, yay, and I am
Hey.
learning, yay, and I
Hey.
am growing, yay.
Hey.
Okay.
Mama Raziya. Mama Raziya rapping in
I'm Raziya. I just
Hey.
a sister friend called me and woke me up. Not here, but some of me is here and happy to be in this space.
Yay.
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 Who else is out there? Who else is out there?
Sanji.
Adios.
Hi, this is Sanji. Did you read my
Hey.
comment
Hey.
in the chat?
Oh. We don't not can't you tell
DJ
this
sing.
Mama
Just
Head
I'm
loves to pop up surprise. It doesn't matter. You can just talk. You can rap. You don't have to sing. Roll
oh
call,
gosh.
shaboogie, check us out. Roll call, shaboogie, check us out. Your name is,
Sanji,
and you
Ali,
like to? What do you
club,
like to do?
listen to jazz. Go to clubs and listen to jazz.
Da, 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 da.
Yep.
All right. Thanks for the trial run. We're gonna work
That's
it
how
out.
I
We're gonna
met
work it
Queen
out.
Aduni. That's how I met her.
All right.
Mhm.
Awesome. All right, Deitra, you can take it away, sis. Mama Head got to get us laughing and being silly first thing.
Okay,
So
Queen
we can break
Aduni,
those
can you
mugs.
allow me to have the screen?
Yeah.
1 minute, everybody.
Good morning. I just want to ask the question of, is Adrienne, I love your background. Is that a wall? Is that fabric? What is that?
It's a tapestry. It's just fabric and some little fairy lights.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Thank you. I appreciate
Beautiful.
that. This tapestry saved my life once. So I'll maybe talk about that a little later.
Okay.
Okay, thank you, Queen. I brought up the wrong one.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see if this.
Don't you just love life? Lets you restart whenever needed.
Oh,
You know what? So great. Okay, please, everybody. This particular flyer has the wrong Adrienne name. I did change it, but it's not available. Her name is Adrienne. Right, Adrienne? Yes.
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay. but everything else is good. Her topic, recover your energy with human design. I'm very interested in learning about that. Stop energy leaks, tips to recover your energy. And I want to give a little bio. Adrienne Roach is a hustler turned business empowerment coach and entrepreneur. She uses human design and business wisdom to help women build businesses that love them back. Nice. She's passionate about women engaging in self-care in meaningful and sustainable ways. Adrienne is the co-founder of Mani Sisters?
Mana sisters, like many sisters, Mani sisters, yes.
Okay, Mani Sisters Global, along with her daughter, is it Izora or Izora? Izora.
Yeah, it's Izora, but yeah. She was named after an Izora, so yes.
Okay. Together, they help women go from struggling in business to successful and confident. I love it. We could use this. Yes. And now I'll turn it over to Adrienne.
Well, I'm so super excited to be here. Hey, Queens. Thank you so much for having me here. Mama Hetheru and I have been friends for a really long time. I can't believe it's been like, I think eight or 9 years that I met you. So thank you so much for the invitation. It's been such a pleasure just watching y'all rise up together in the morning. Like this grand rising is so, it's delicious because it's good to see women, and especially see women, mature women, because we are all, as Queen Aduni said, ain't nobody 10 in here. Everybody's a grown up. We are really grown, super grown. And this is great, but we're still children inside. So we all, have that playful spirit, but then there's things that we know. So, and thank you again, Sister Deitra, for that introduction. So I would like to talk to y'all. It sounds like you want to talk about energy recovery. That's a little bit of a deeper subject, especially if you've not heard of human design before. So let me just first find out, how many of you here, I know Hetheru had, I know Mama had no, but anybody else here, have you ever heard of human design?
Never.
Never. Okay. So we're going to probably start there. And it wasn't until, of course, late last night, I was like, dang, I should have got the charts of some of the people there. So I could have given you guys some kind of, a little bit more even of a deeper introduction. And who knows, maybe during the course of the time together, we'll have a little time so that you can pull your own chart. So human design is an energetic map of yourself. Now, the calculations are based in like astrology. So it has a lot of similarities with astrology, but it's a synthesis of many ancient systems, including the chakra. So when I was hearing, Mama had take us through that exercise, we're focusing on the root chakra. We're down in the base and between the root and the sacral chakras. That's like very important that you have awareness around these energetic centers. So in human design, you get a map of yourself and you see your energetic centers. Typically, does anybody have know how many chakras that we typically talk about? When people talk about, I got my chakras, they talk about
seven.
So this is where human design diverges. The idea is about 400 years ago, there was a kind of an upgrade in humans, and we actually got 2 extra chakras. And so in human design, you'll see 9 centers, not just 7. And what these centers are representing are your consistent energy versus the energy that is not consistent. Another way to look at it is the energy that is native to you, and then the energy that maybe other people have, or maybe a transit field is bringing, but it's not yours. You may be able to interact with it, and you may be even able to use it. But if you start to identify with this external energy that is not yours, you deplete your own real native energy. So the whole point of human design is that you get to know yourself and that you're able to act according to your own energetic patterns versus adopting conditioned patterns that were taught to you by school, that were taught to you by your parents, that were taught to you even by situations you've gone through in life that gave you a lesson that you may have misinterpreted, or that it came out of incorrectness, and therefore the lesson gets to be incorrect. All right. So is this making sense? Because I'm not showing you any images quite yet, just so that we can lay down a little base level.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
The other thing about human design is the idea that we're going towards deconditioning ourselves. So once you have a map of yourself and you know who you are, then you, in a sense, know who you aren't. So what happens is you start to let go in a very systematic way of what you aren't because you've identified it very clearly. And that's kind of what my journey has been. When I found human design, it was really interesting because Mama Het's husband was the first one. He come running. I'm like, what are you talking about? And he's like, you're a manifestor. This. I'm like, what does that even mean? And after doing, I just deep dived. I found a friend.
With a record of fighting for a woman's right to.
Oh yeah. So I deep dived into it, started a group, like collected all of the resources that had been written on it, because by the time I had found out about it, the person who created it was passed on. But I found all this rich information, great communities, and learned, and then began to practice analysis myself, to be able to not only analyze myself, but then eventually to analyze others. For me, though, the most important thing for most of us is to be able to analyze ourselves, to be able to get to deeply know ourselves, so that we don't act against our own best interest. Okay. So real quickly, it's an energetic map, 9 centers. Some of them will be colored in, some will be open. And if they're colored in, that means they're defined, and that means you have consistent energy there. If they're open, they're not. I'm going to show you guys a human design chart in a minute. We're going to hold off one more piece. There are so in human design, what we're looking at when we're interacting with one another is our auras are communicating with one another. And there are 4 distinct types of auras in human design. So these are, it's pretty easy to remember, just 4. And the 4 types of auras, the most common type of aura is the generator aura. There's 2 types of generators, but that's the most common type of aura. And this is an open, enveloping, embracing type of aura. Thank goodness 70% of people have it, because it's the thing that makes the world go round. It's building the world. It's constantly reproducing. It's mixing with others. It's, embracing. The second most common is actually projector type, which Mama Het is a projector. And the projectors are natural guides. They're natural guides for us. They help that 70% I talked about. They can really help them to focus and direct their energy properly, right? So they can see what's wrong. And if they're invited to, they can guide other people into higher levels of themselves, higher levels of production. I look at business because that's my specialty. And you bring a projector into your organization, they can actually make people work harder. I won't even say work harder, work smarter, be more productive, get more done, and feel happier in the process. Like, how did you do that? Yeah, they'll do that. They'll just tune people up. The next most populous are manifestors, roughly 9% of the population. I'm a manifestor. Manifestors are here to impact people. And so they have a closed and repelling aura. The projector aura is piercing, can see into other people and pull things out. The manifestor is kind of hard, little shocking. And they are a little bit hard to understand or see. These are the confusing people. I know I sometimes can be very confused. The confusing people, meaning like they do weird stuff, like strange things, like quit their 20-year career, their 20-year corporate career, and go become a professional astrologist. Basically, that's what I did. my family's like, what are you doing? I'm like, living whatever the hell I want. I mean, are there rules? And that's kind of a very manifestor thing. It's just, whatever. And then the very most rare are reflectors, 1% of the population. So 1 out of 100 people are these reflectors. And these people are here to be basically a barometer of what's happening in society. Just put it to you this way. If you're in a society or community and your reflector is not doing well, something's wrong in your community. It's sick. Either that or that reflector needs to move on and go somewhere else. So those are the 4 types in general. The last two types, the manifestor and the reflector, they actually both have kind of like hard shell auras. People think that the reflectors, all their centers are open. They're all white. And I'll show you guys. So I can also share screen, can't I?
Yes, I'll give it to you.
Oh yeah, no, I think I see that.
No, I have to share it.
Okay. Oh, okay, gotcha. Okay.
I have the power.
You got the power. The power.
I have to give you the power.
Yes. Oh man. And it's really funny because I wasn't necessarily going to show this particular these particular slides, but I think it might be helpful because actually, you know what? Instead of showing slides, I'm going to first off show you guys what a chart might look like. Now, I'm using some professional software, but all of you can go to, I'm going to give you 2 resources and I'll shoot it to you by message. And I don't know how this comes up on the podcast or on the, on the show, but I'll make sure to give you the link so that you can put it in the description. So I will show y'all a chart. So this is what it looks like to go get a chart. And this is probably the simplest place to go get one. So give me 1 second here. Y'all can see how many million tabs I have. I have so many tabs open. This is not okay. But this is Jovian Archive. This is like the place where I would say these are the originators of the system. The guy who started the system was named Hetheru. He was originally from Canada and he launched this in Europe because I think Americans weren't quite ready for it. So it's actually a lot bigger in Europe than it is here, but it's growing everywhere exponentially to get these maps. So I'm just going to show you guys, I'll show you mine because I don't mind showing this information. So you do have to have your birth time. The field hour must be a number. It is a number. Okay, hold on. There it is. Okay, I'm not reading.
What happens if you don't, Adrienne, or you don't have the exact time?
This is really important. So what I would say, if you don't have the exact time, you need to do something called birth time rectification. You can do that through a Vedic astrologer. Another thing is that you could, if possible, talk to family members who might have been around for your birth, but I know how that is. As we get older, there's less of those around. You could also do body testing, or I don't know if you've heard of that. So you can do like a pendulum. Yeah, I would put a clock down, do a pendulum. If you have even an idea like that you were born in the morning, then pendulum to get more exact times.
Right. Because my mom said it was around 2 in the morning. So that's all right. So I can start at 2 and then work forward or backwards in that.
Exactly. So and even being within, so certain aspects of a chart are important that it be down even close to the seconds. But I personally don't work in that depth anymore. I studied and I just didn't find it very useful. I found that the little details you would get down at that level typically weren't things that you could control or use. For me personally, everything that is necessary is almost at the surface. You don't have to go super deep. You do get a little depth, but it's like 3 layers in versus when you're talking about birth times that are accurate to the within 5 or 7 seconds. That stuff is not very useful to me. There's some other people who study it deeply and I don't, I respect their work, but it's like the difference of, if you're talking to someone who's, say, a food scientist, I want to go to a restaurant and eat. I don't actually want to learn about the molecules in my food all the time. You see what I'm saying? Like, I'm going to the restaurant to eat. And so when I use human design, I'm coming here to eat. I'm not coming here to learn about the goddamn molecules. Just, I'm not really, I don't have that interest because they're not useful. Like, oh my gosh, you know. Anyway, so I'm just going to go ahead and calculate this. What do you mean invalid? Okay. It wants me to choose things. You'll go through this, and I'm trying to do two things at once. So as you calculate a chart, this is what a typical chart looks like. And I'm going to make this a little bigger. Actually, can you guys see that? Can you see it fine?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
And so remember I was telling you about all of the, let's see if I can move this around because I feel like this bar, can you guys see this bar on my screen? It's black, but no, you can't, maybe you can't see it. Hold on, I'll move it. There we go. Perfect. So this is just the chart. It has 9 centers. You can see them. For mine, I have 7 centers that are open and 2 that are defined. So that's it. The reason I don't like to show people this chart first, as you can tell, there's a lot of stuff to look at, and a lot of it is pretty inscrutable. Like, what does any of that mean? And so this is partly why I kind of gave you a little bit of background first. Like, let me prep you for what you're going to see. What you're going to see, these columns on the left and the right are basically just astrological placements. The ones over on the right side are the same as your regular natal chart. So if any of you have had an astrology reading, these placements actually line up directly with the things that are in your natal chart. But there's things in human design that are, well, there are things in astrology that are missing from human design. So if you're talking about houses and all of that, that's missing out of human design. Human design does not deal with the houses. It doesn't have a rising sign, but it does add in an earth sign, which is one of those things that has really changed my perception of myself. The thing that grounds me, the things that make me, feel strong and settled in my core, in my yoni, connected to really like all of that. But on the left side, you'll notice a whole nother set of numbers in red. Those were calculated 88 days before your birth. And why are those important? That's when, according to human design, so I think human design being a synthesis of other systems, they borrowed from other very ancient systems. And this is the date when your soul started to basically enter your body. This is also corresponding with around the time that your pineal gland develops in your brain. So the pineal gland is the seat of the soul. So for you to have a soul, you got to get a seat first. So the seat doesn't develop until towards the end of the second trimester. This is partly why, you can get really early babies. I remember I had this question. I was like, oh, my brother was really premature. Is his information accurate? Absolutely. As long as the seat of the soul is there, the soul can come occupy. So yeah, there's kind of a lot more to it. There's the ideas that we're a unification of two. There is a binary, as you can see here, right? The black side and this red side. The black side is your consciousness, and the red side is your unconscious, and it represents your body. And the fact is, we are all this 2-in-1. I've personally elevated this to I think we're the 4-in-1. I don't even think we're 3-in-1. I think we're beyond Trinity even, that most of us are actually, I call it the omni self. The omni self is all the white parts, all the black parts, all the red parts, and the collection of all of them. Because just as listen, that card that you read this morning, when you said basically the parts of me that everybody loves, that are lovable, that I love, those are, I should love that. But the parts of me that are uncomfortable, and that should be loved too. And so to me, what has happened with my human design journey after studying this, understanding this, is that I am able to love what I see as my strengths, what I see as my weaknesses, what I see as my differences from you, because we are different. And isn't it a blessing to be unique? So that's what this chart is showing you, your uniqueness. Now, over on the right side, there's a lot more information. As you can see, like my type is a manifester. my inner authority, that's one of the most important parts of human design. So I'm gonna stop sharing for a moment and come back on screen. With those aura types, the aura types all have a strategy. Now, if you think of what a strategy is, this is like, I act this way so that I can get I won't even say the results I want, but the results that are best for me. Okay. So depending on what your aura is, that's how you move through the world. Okay. So as generators, which are 70% of the population. So if I'm looking at this screen right now, 9 of us on this call, I'm going to assume that there's probably at least 6 generators in here, because I already know that Mama Het is not. She's a projector. If you are a generator, the best thing you can do, and it's so funny because, you know, that exercise we were doing earlier with Mama Het taking us into the yoni, the pussy space, the seat of your generative power. That's where the babies come from. That's where the love is born. That's where the energy is. When you can feel that space, then you can feel what all generators need to feel, which is when their body is responding, when they are feeling a response to a stimulus outside of themselves. So, you know, most of my work is in business with people. And it's like, you know, should I do this? Should I do that? It's all these millions of thoughts running through your head. And the reality is your truth is not really basically in here. It's not in your thoughts. It's not floating around. It's not what somebody told you. It's really your real truth is what you actually have energy for. What your body opens up the yoni space. That's what I call it. It's like opening up the sacral. The sacral opens up and unleashes energy. And a lot of people are doing things in their lives that they hate. Not only do they hate it, they're doing it out of fear, obligation, and guilt. And fog, fear, obligation, and guilt are the enemy of the generator. Nobody can tell you what to do with your precious energy. If you're a generator, your precious energy is not even under your command. It is under the command of your sacral, which opens up and gets generous. It says, I have endless energy to do that thing. And then somebody comes up to you and like, can you come wash these dishes? Energy closes down, but you went in and did the dishes anyway. And now you're sick or you're tired. You know what that feels like. So that, you know, for generators, it's really listening to it's not mental. It has no words. It's ancient. The sacral does not speak in language. What it speaks in is energy. It speaks in, is my energy really available? And not that mental enthusiasm, like I should do that. Like, oh, that sounds like a good idea, or that'll make me money, or that'll make people like me. It's the energy there or not? And that takes that awareness that Mama Het was giving us through that exercise to look deep. Is the energy there? You got to get into the inside of yourself and be realistic and be real. And it's okay to say no. That's the big thing. Generators, it's okay to say no. Nobody owns your energy, and nobody can take that from you. Nobody can make you use your energy for them. You are not enslaved to anybody else's whims or wills. For projectors, the big thing for projectors is, fantastic guides. They can tune your energy up. They can get you, like, if you're a generator, especially, getting with a projector is like somebody giving you high octane fuel. You know, like they just tune you up, partially because this is the naked truth is they don't have that sacral energy. None of the other types do. Only the generators have the sacral energy in a deep way. We can access it, the non-sacrals. We can get it every once in a while, but we can't sustain it every day. Every day, a generator will wake up with a full tank if they treat themselves right. For us non-sacrals, we don't know what we're going to get when we wake up. We wake up, some mornings it's like, yay! Some mornings it's like, oh, I need to go back to sleep right now. Like, I got to go back to sleep. So with a projector, because they don't necessarily have always have a full supply of energy. They need lots of rest. Sometimes they need time apart and away from other people, and they need to be invited to guide. So they can't just come and tell you what to do. I told generators, no is you can say no. So if you have a projector around, being able to recognize what they are good at, what they know best, recognize them and then invite them to help you with that. I find a lot of people look at projectors and they're like my partner, he's a generator. My daughter's a projector. And he's like, she doesn't move a lot. She does, but he doesn't see it. He doesn't understand how she moves. And he also listens to her because she's got great advice. But, you have to recognize what they know, what they, I wouldn't go and ask Mama Het about computers. I'm going to ask Mama Het about movement. I'm going to ask Mama Het about, spiritual things because I know she's deep there. I'm not going to ask her about things that she doesn't know because I disrespect her energy by asking her about some stuff she don't even know. I'm supposed to ask her about what she knows. That tells her that I see her. And projectors need to be seen so that when you can see them, then they can see deeply into you. Now, listen, one caveat and one caution. You get that projector looking in, they're going to see your stuff. They're going to see your stuff. And they might tell you things. And this is what we want because we want to know ourselves better, especially generators. The next type is manifestor. I'm a manifestor. And manifestors are here to impact other people. And I say we impact, but our impact is felt when we leave. So we get here, we do our thing, but then we move. They're always moving. They're not necessarily going to be accessible all the time. I almost think of manifestors as the person that lives at the edge of the village, maybe the witch doctor, somebody that they need to be on the outside a little bit. They need access to the inside, but they can't live on the inside with everybody. It's energetically too much. They have a very hard aura, so Mama Het is a penetrating aura. The generator's open. Kind of wants to be penetrated. It's like a yoni, it's very feminine, very yin energy. The generator is very yin because it's waiting to respond to something, and you think about what we were doing the exercise earlier. We were exercising that area and wasn't it responding? I remember Queen Aduni was like, she happy. She got the power. Okay. That's what we're talking about, right? And that's male or female. Like my partner is a generator and I recognize his yinness and I've, been able to be a safe place for him to be more in his yin, even though he's quite a masculine man. And I've been able to settle into my femininity and my yinness, but I have a yang aura. My aura come in like that. Like, oh my God, y'all should see me with the dude bros. I've been giving them hell. And I love it, but I come home and I'm soft. I'm like, oh, take care of me. It's great. So, the different aura types, the generators waiting to know that they're responding. They got that waiting for their energy to know that they have the energy. Mama Het is waiting for an invitation. Invitations of all kinds. We're not just talking about social invitations, but invitation and recognition, because you can't invite somebody, or if you don't recognize them, you don't remember them. Recognize means to rethink, rethinking about her. When she comes up, that's why when she approached me about this, I know who she is. I know what she do. So yeah, I was like, yes, I didn't even ask no questions. I was like, okay. So because I know who she is. With the reflectors, okay, they're only 1% of the population. We call them moon children. They have it's a hard aura, but it's sampling. So they are in our societies reflecting back to us what's good and what's bad in our societies. So they are like barometers versus, even though there is a real person in there, there's a personality in there, they can shift like a kaleidoscope. That's the way I describe them. They are on the moon cycle. So they have to wait a moon cycle before making really big, important decisions, which is crazy, right? It's like, why? Well, because during the moon cycle, the transits are happening and they are being activated all over this big white empty body graph. So I showed y'all mine. Mine had 2 centers. Theirs have no centers defined. And the transits help to give them definition, that and the people they're around. And so say they want to make a big decision, like move out of state. They need to let the basically the cosmos helps them to move. And then they might talk it over with a whole lot of people. That's kind of basically what they're going to do. So anyway, that's kind of like I think that's a pretty basic overview of human design. There's a lot more. Like I do have some videos out on the YouTubes to help with that. And I'm going to do kind of like a human design 101 class. And I'm going to do some stuff locally here. I'm in the Detroit area. I don't know if everyone here is. I don't know if you, yeah. So I'm really looking to do some things locally. I haven't done anything locally here in a few years. I had moved away and now I'm back. So I would like to do some local stuff, just teaching basics and also getting you to understand your own chart. So I want to open up for questions. This has been really basic. Let's have it be a conversation. Any questions or comments? Yes,
I have a question. Yeah, what colors are the other 2 chakras?
So that's a good question. So let me tell you, I will show, maybe I can show you a full body graph picture. I'll show you because the guy died. He didn't know, he even said, I don't know why why they're colored this way. So he colored them, but he didn't know why. I've kind of got a theory about it though. So I'm going to show you this. This is just from Google Images. Do you see this? So like the top one and the middle one. Mm-hmm. So the head and the G, they call it the G center, the God center. Mm-hmm. And this is a very important place. We would think of it kind of like a heart chakra, but there is a heart over here. What the heck? This is more like if any of you have done Reiki, you might have heard high heart. That's what I think of the G center as, the high heart. But these 2 are yellow. There's only 1 green center. Interesting, right? And then these 4 are all brown, and then those 2 are red. Go and figure. What I will tell you though, what I found was like, there's a lot of kind of as above, so below represented in this chart. This is after me. I have years of studying it. That, you know, there are there's significance in there, but the shapes themselves, maybe they were done out of convenience, but he never had a good explanation. So the person that channeled the system, he was in Montreal, like a, you know, Jewish European descent person living in Montreal. He had a regular career and one day just felt like, you know, he was doing a lot of drugs. I have to say that, you know, he was doing a lot of drugs. But I tell you what, doing a lot of drugs is not incorrect for every person. Like sometimes it's correct for some people, you know, like shamans. And, you know, so he was kind of on a shamanic journey. He had no idea he was, though. He moved to Europe and someone told him, you should go to Ibiza. So I don't know if you guys are familiar, but Ibiza, small island near, that belongs to Spain. So near Spain, Ibiza, Spain. And he went there with nothing. And he lived 7 years with nothing. And during his time there, he lived just like, I mean, he was like a homeless person, just terrible. Like he was like, this was my life. And he was like, I understood this as some type of initiation. And what the initiation culminated in was in 1987, around the time that there was I want to say there was a supernova that happened out in space. 1987, we were hit with a blast of information and neutrinos from a supernova that happened in a far off place in the galaxy. And his theory is that there was information in that stream. So in human design, how, like this, we think of this universe as an information universe. It's data. Everything, when we connect with one another, we're exchanging information, even if we don't talk to each other. Okay. But how does that happen? This man predicted something that quantum physicists were able to verify later, the neutrino. His idea is that the neutrino is what carries information from person to person and from the stars to us. This is why astrology works. If anybody has ever had an astrology reading, it's uncanny. You'd be like, what? Yeah, how did you know me? Same thing with the human design, but human design, I think, is slightly different because human design doesn't seek to, it seeks to tell you stuff about yourself. And I think it's actually something that a normal, regular person, you can learn how to interpret yourself relatively easily. You don't have to learn geometry, because that's what I felt like with astrology. I was like, what is a square? Okay, I got square. I got the square, but quintile, I don't know what that means. It was too much math, and I love math, and I was like, I'm not learning any more math. I don't want to learn math to learn myself. But anyway, these particles, like our sun, is constantly beaming neutrinos at us, and they've proven that neutrinos actually have very small mass, and they interpenetrate everything. Neutrinos, like, if you have light shining on something, those particles stop there and they're reflecting back. Neutrinos don't do that. Neutrinos pass through everything. As a matter of fact, it's so hard to study, they have to do really weird things to try to slow them down so they can study them, the neutrinos. And, they're really just starting to be able to do that well. So the idea is that we're in a neutrino ocean, like we're being bombarded. Every star puts out neutrinos. Oh. It's something that stars produce. And this is partly why stars, they're like talking to us. Though when we think about more ancient religions or even animism, the idea is that the gods were talking to us, or the gods were, sending us messages. They were, but it's the stars. And the stars are, the idea is that they are alive. They are of a different consciousness level than we are. So we can't talk directly to them. Just like you can't talk to the microbes in your belly. When's the last time you talked to your gut microbiome? And they can't talk to us. So to think about it, like, maybe just your gut biome is craving something. Oh yeah, who's that? Oh yeah, yeah. Mama had said that human design is more visual, and I enjoy the visualness of it because I can hang my chart up, and there's some high level instant things I can remember just by looking at my chart. Like when I showed you my chart, I had all these open centers. Those are things that I am not natively. So that gate, do you know how much that put me off the hook, y'all? 7 out of my 9 centers they're not empty. There's no such thing as empty, but they are undefined, which means I stopped trying to consistently show up as any of that other shit. Oh, wait, are we squeezing? What? What number? 1, 2, all of them? What? Or 2? Oh, 2. Okay, I'm sorry. We're doing a 2, y'all. We're doing it. I can't talk and do 2. What?
ING is 20. Regular is just 10.
Okay, well, shoot.
We all doing it. You got to talk.
Stop. Just keep
together.
You're just gonna see us jump up and down. It's all good.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I'm a wiggle it from side to side or something.
Yeah, that's good. That's all right. Whatever you want to do. Okay.
Yeah. So
the good thing is that we all, because we are a team like football, all of us got to do it with you.
I know, like we're doing it, man. Listen, I'm down for this. My stuff gonna be together. So shoot, I feel my whole stuff. I'm like, okay, listen, I got to go, y'all. Right. So yeah, it let me off the hook, y'all. That was really what happened. I got off the hook for a whole bunch of stuff, which was good for me. And then it also allowed me to lean into who I really am. and stop denying myself. I realized during my journey of exploring human design that I have been conditioned by my parents and by society to act against, I don't even say my parents and society, I can't even blame them, because a lot of what happens is, as children, our own misinterpretation of what happened, right? So just to give you an example, there's a part in my chart that basically says that if we're in times of struggle, that I may drain my partner of energy. Now, I'm going to tell y'all, as a younger woman, before I hit my 40s, I was trying to prove to everybody how independent I was and I could do it myself. And I was making money left and right. I didn't need anybody. I wasn't trying to take advantage or take anything from anybody. And when I say take advantage, is that a bad thing? If apple has apple trees and you eat them, is that taking advantage? Or did you use the apple tree for what the apple tree was being used for, what it was useful for? So I wouldn't let a man take care of me. Partially because I had my own father wounds. The man who was responsible for my creation didn't take care of me. Some other man was going to do it. I didn't think so. And I think there was just all of these misconceptions I had. So I hit 40, of course, everything collapsed because, this is called Uranus opposition. If you want to know what happened in your early 40s, if you're past your early 40s, you want to know what happened then? And everything just went haywire. Yeah, that was what that was. Uranus opposition. So I went through my Uranus opposition and I finally leaned into and accepted that I am actually supposed to allow a partnership and allow someone to feed me and allow someone to nourish me. And yes, that could be a man. And I let it happen. I love one man at a time, though. I love women. Like I work with women. I do most of my stuff with women, but I came to this place where I could sit back and watch him do the things I used to jump up and go do. I would jump up to go do them, trying to prove my what was on that card today? Self-worth. Not proving my self-worth through expending energy I don't have. Showed y'all all them empty centers. Most of those empty, and so in human design, there are motors. I have one motor. My motor is the weakest motor. It's not weak. It's very strong, but the motor doesn't work all the time. It's not one that can run constantly. The sacral is a motor that can run every morning. They wake up with a full tank. I don't get that. So stop trying to do that. I stopped it. And literally doing this with this man has allowed him to flower into himself. I studied his chart so hard and I told him about his chart. I was like, come on, we're gonna sit down. Because before we were gonna start this relationship, I was like, yeah, you're gonna have to know who I am. Because that's the important part. Like, I don't need anybody to accept me. I have to accept me. But I'm just gonna let you know what you get into. Like, this is not about to be any of those other people. It's not about to be any of that. It's about to, this is what it is.
Yeah.
And being able to explore his design with him, showing him, bringing yourself to the table, being you at the table, like, and not backing down. Like, how about this? I can't hold up the facade for that long to fool any damn body. Right. So what if I just put it down in the first place and just walk around being me? What if I put a mask of my own face on? Okay, the mask of my own face. I'll wear that. Okay, that's the mask I'm gonna wear. I like my clothes to fit me, and I like my situations to fit me. And so this is the thing, to be able to lay it out on the table and to come at him this way and to let him know, look, I'm not going to do that, and watch him blossom energetically to share his generous energy, because he's a generator. I'm going to tell you something, as a non-sacral person, knowing that I can't necessarily work like he can, and that I don't always have the energy like he does, having him say to me and look at me and say, I got you. There's nothing I can't do. this is how we build beautiful, real clear relationships with each other, yeah, I love that. So I don't even know where I was going. Thank you. We started with squeezing and now we went all over here. Does anybody have any? You have any questions? Because what I really want to do, and I love this kind of meeting situation, but like I said, I really want to do some things locally. I'm kind of got some things in the works right now, but I really want to. I want to see the people. I want to touch the people. I know we still are technically, dealing with pandemic-y stuff, but yeah, it's time for. I really want to do this. The most important is it's one, yes, for yourself, but for our children and our grandchildren to be able to recognize who they are and to see how we, and a lot, I even know somebody who's using human design because there are designs of animals. He uses it with his holistic animal practice because owners are trying to get their dog to do something the dog doesn't want to do. And he's like, it's in the chart. Your dog is a stubborn dog. He's like, I have a dog I have to discuss stuff with. I was like, wait, you got to discuss stuff with your dog? And he was like, yeah. Because the dog doesn't want to do stuff. He's got a stubbornness line, a line that says, I am stubborn. Can you imagine how free somebody be like, you so stubborn? You be like, sure, I sure am. Somebody was like, you so bossy. I'm like, fuck yeah, I am. Have you not seen my socks? My socks don't say I'm bossy. They say I'm the boss. Okay, so so you get to lean into who you actually are. And you're like, wait. Because I was always not trying to be the boss. I didn't even want to be leadership. I didn't want to take responsibility. And then as I got deeper into my chart, I was like, oh, you mean all the shit I was trying to avoid being? All the stuff they was telling me I shouldn't be? You mean that was what I am? Oh, shoot. And that's why letting myself off the hook for the stuff I'm not, leaning into who I am. Yeah. And then even the stuff that I'm not, being receptive enough to get the wisdom out of what I am not. Right? Yeah. Like being a non-sacral being, not waking up necessarily with the same energy, that same fulfilling energy that the generator has taught me that I have to be real careful and precious about how I spend my energy. Careful and precious. I really only work on my own shit. I mean, I seriously do. Like, my energy goes to things I like to do. There's no way you can actually get me to do things I don't want to do. And when I do get into stuff, like just recently, like I had been, I wouldn't say estranged from my family. I just wasn't available, y'all. I had to take a rest. I rested for 2 years though. And I was like, this is what I'm doing. They could contact me. It wasn't that I was uncontactable, but I was like, I wasn't contactable for bullshit. Like you just wasn't, and that was one of my problems is I have a brother, and I won't name which cult he's a part of, but he literally only contacts me about his cult stuff, except 2 messages. I thought he didn't invite me to his wedding, y'all. But it was sandwiched in between cult messages. How was I supposed to know? So I ignored him. And I had to tell my other brothers, I'm like, y'all, why y'all send Carl? Don't send Carl. Because Carl's going to try to get me in a cult. And I don't respond to that. So all of that to say, like, getting into with the family stuff, families are complicated because there is a lot of that. What did I call it earlier with, especially generators need to be on the lookout for fear, obligation, and guilt. That's how family, that's the juice that your family runs on. And this is partly why I'm so passionate about human design, because you can take that out of a family and see the genius of the family come together. The genius of a family is that there is no fear, obligation, or guilt. And that's what we've built here. So it's really interesting because my partner now, my fiance, he my baby daddy, y'all. My baby daddy, but my baby is 25. And we have been apart. We were apart for 23 years.
Oh my God, Adrienne, I'm gonna cry.
So it's crazy because if anybody asked me in my 20s and in my 30s, are you gonna be with him? You gonna be with Damien? Our names even rhyme. It's ridiculous. Anyway, you gonna be with him? I was like, no, he is a madman. there's too many things wrong with him. And I never felt animosity, but I was no way I was going to be with him. And my daughter and I and her dad lived together in a household and a family where there's no fog. This is the wildest, like everybody is a whole complete person. Nobody's obligated. Nobody's in fear. Nobody's feeling guilty. Everybody's just themselves. We don't have to be up under each other. So it's been great. Like I spend good time with him, but we also have good apart time. And it's like, I get to do all the things I want. My business is thriving. I get to just do whatever I want. I'm having a great time.
I want one of them kind of partners.
Yeah.
If I was going to have a partner, that's the kind of partner I want.
Yeah. Somebody, it was really, it did take about 2 years. Here's what the secret for me was, I did not break character. I showed up as me every time. I was not going to pretend to be no other woman. Okay. Because if you pretend to be some other woman, that's what they be expecting. I'm like, oh no. I'll be me all the time. And literally, I just didn't break character. I did not break character. And that was, to me, what really solidified, because I think that eventually with him, it was like, it wasn't a battle of wills. We did have long history. Like we were children when we were together. And he had a long relationship in between. There was all kinds of things. And I was trying to tell him, like, I don't actually care about any of the in-between times, because we definitely weren't together. It wasn't that I wasn't able to see his life. I never wanted to look. I was living my own life. So I didn't know what was really going on. I just knew I didn't want anything to do with it. When we decided to get together, by consistently showing up as myself and like not backing down, I was not going to be anybody else. Like, I remember he started bringing me flowers. I'm like, stop bringing me flowers because they die. Bring me plants. Then I had a whole house full of plants. I was like, okay, great. Because you now, and if you don't tell somebody that what they're doing is not to your liking, or if they don't know. Yeah. And it's all information. Fear, obligation, and guilt are actually destroyed by information. Fear, I know, is destroyed by information. Obligation also. Like, again, I said to the generators, you don't owe anybody your energy. This man comes to me and verbalizes and shows me, he told me, he was like, I commit my energy to you. I was like, ooh, that sounds like, if you think about that, you're a woman and you said to a man like, oh yeah, you can always come into this temple. You can come in. He would be like, girl, that's the definition of loyalty. Literally for me, that's what this man is giving me. Energetic loyalty, because he know my pockets is bare sometimes with this energy shit. So he's like, no, I got you. I'm a stable foundation. You go, you do all your things. And I'm like, but it took 2 years. I'll be honest with y'all. It wasn't easy at the beginning, but it became easy because he knew what to expect every day, which was me. my crazy ass. I'm laughing, I'm giggling. I'm giggling, I'm making jokes, but I'm also no joke. And I'm just like, this is what you're gonna really get. And I think it just dawned on him like 18 months in, like, she really being her. She's not gonna change.
Has anyone ever seen that movie, Death Becomes Her? And Meryl Streep sings that song, I Am Me.
Yeah.
It's all about me. I'm like,
I mean, I the thing is, it's not, I don't recommend my methods to everybody. As a matter of fact, that's part of the joy of having such an open chart like I have. Yeah, I'm going to be me. I got my own identity, but I'm open enough to recognize other people's identities and not try to stump all over them. I'm not saying be like, there's no, being like someone else is detrimental to yourself.
No, yeah.
So,
right.
So what I will tell you though is, yeah, when you find that what you are, that thing, and you can lean in. Oh man, you just show up as that. It's like having tailored clothes where your personality actually fits, and anything's not put on, and so you're not having to fake up anything. You don't have to remember shit. You don't have to be like, oh, I gotta do it this way because this is the proper way. The proper way is the way you're doing it. Yeah. Anyway, so I want to thank y'all so much for having me. It's excellent being with y'all, and hope to see y'all around. if you want to catch me, I am on YouTube, Mana Sisters TV. You can also find me on Facebook under Mana Sisters Global. And yeah, I mean, find me on Facebook, Adrienne Roach. If you want to come friend me, if you're on Facebook, I'll accept friendships.
Thank you. Oh my goodness, I truly enjoyed you. Thank you for taking the time to share this with us. This has been really awesome. That's what I put in the chat.
I'm volunteering for a sample chart for you.
Well, you know what? This is what we can do. If you were all, actually, I'm gonna send you a link, and I might even read it out loud if you don't mind, just very quickly.
Go ahead.
Yeah, so it's human.design is a website that if you go to human.design, they will give you a free 50-page report.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's a free introductory reading. It will be personalized to your chart.
Okay.
I think I put it in the link in the chat.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
The Jovian Archive.
Okay, cool.
Well, Jovian Archive, I start with Jovian Archive as just a place to get your chart, but human.design is out of the UK. They have a license with Jovian. You can get a 50-page report for free, and it'll be personal.
Is that the body graph? That's that body graph?
It will give you a body graph. The body graph is in the report. So the very last page of the report, 50 pages, y'all. It's juicy. You're gonna like it.
Human.design.com.
Yes, human.design.com. And if you, I'll put this in the chat.
Well, I'm pulling up human.design.com, and it does not.
Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry, not .com, just human.design. .design is the domain. So human.design, and then I sent the actual it's like /chart-reports/free. Get that free report. You will love it. They don't bother you or send you emails or anything. They just get you this report. It's a PDF.
Good.
I'm sorry, Miss Juanita, you got a question?
Yes, Grand Rising, everyone. Thank you all for bringing Miss Adrienne. Miss Adrienne, thank you for answering the call, being here with us, Rich. And I'm processing what you're saying from the perspective of a person who is in the process of healing, healing spiritually, mentally, emotionally, physically. Physically, it has manifested presently as cancer, and that is the platform I operate from. And I'm just wondering if you have, or if you see yourself doing anything. I hear you talking about endeavors you're going to be doing in the city or in this area. Anything, does anything look like something that would help a group of people dealing with cancer as a patient, as a survivor? Does any of that resonate with you?
Yeah. So what I would tell you is this: though my specialty is business, one of the things that I have developed over the last few years is a very deep, rich network of people who are human design practitioners. And I call them human design plus, because I personally, it's great to learn human design, but and I think it's awesome because really getting your deconditioning underway is a first step. So that would be something I'd be very comfortable with. But there are actually implications in the chart biologically that can help with how to approach certain types of illness. Not necessarily. So here's the thing about human design. There's no ideal life, right? So even inside of human design, the idea that sometimes certain illnesses come about to teach us a lesson or to move our storyline along, right? Because we all have a story, and the story goes along, right? And our illness sometimes may be a part of the story. And a lot of times, though, many illnesses that we are experiencing are coming from the conditioning that we've had, starting to, like you said, manifest physically. So like, are you comfortable talking a little bit more about
most
the nature?
definitely? My Elizabeth sisters probably know more than they want to know about my journey. So I don't mind. I've shared very openly. What else would you be interested?
Like what's the nature of your cancer? Like where
it's breast cancer, and I do call it cancer, CAN''T.
I heard that. So what I will tell you, this is, what I would love to actually see your chart and see cancer. I heard that you can't. No, sir, you cannot. What I will tell you, like some of the things I know about cancer, a lot of times you do find it in people who have been really caught in fog. They have been wrapped in the fear, obligation, guilt cycle. And this is, it literally is just starting to break that cycle, and not necessarily with the expectation of healing all the time. We don't always, everybody doesn't heal. We already know that all of us end our journey or begin our journey at the thing they call death. So this is something that we all get to face. But when we're looking at the illnesses that pop up, the best thing I could say is to decondition deeply. So loving that you're on the spiritual journey, because that's of course going to give you fortification. But I think a deep session or two of stripping some things out might be helpful, because when we are dealing with illness, what's happening is our resources in our body are being redirected towards the thing that needs healing, really. And I keep doing quotes like needs healing, because here's the thing, our bodies heal themselves. So a lot of times we're just, what we believe, what we're doing, who we're around, is just what's standing in the way of the natural healing that the body can do. Everybody on this call has cancer.
And that's the thing, we don't often realize that it's present in us. It's just
right. We all got cancer right now, but for some reason, something stands in the way of your body taking care of yours. And that's what I feel like a lot of times deconditioning does. It takes away some of those things that stand in the way of our healing. So versus, I got to go heal, it's more like I have to create the optimum conditions for healing, which means we have to be willing. I'm going to tell y'all, for me, the willingness to do it different, like dramatically different, like starting today different, like, oh, I'm not talking to you because you make my stomach hurt, different. I don't care that you gave birth to me. You got, whatever. Oh, I don't care if I gave birth to you. You are representing a destabilization of the equilibrium of my body.
Whoa. Whoa.
Do you know what I'm saying? Like, we look at the earth. The earth is actually fucking cutting a whole fool out here with these superstorms. Cutting a whole fool. If we ain't learned the lesson, Mama Earth do it, we got to sometimes cut a whole entire fool.
Blow up. She might blow up. She might open up. She might wash up. She might rinse up, baby.
You see what I'm saying? She gonna reach around and rinse it off, and you're gonna be like, oh shit, what happened? Right, so here, that's where I'm at. Like, for me, when I walk towards I feel like all problems in the human condition stem from the exact same thing, which is you are either you're not trying to be, you're not yourself, and somebody else, and I would say somebody else could be other energy. It could be sometimes a transit. You can get confused by these transits, but that's a whole nother story. But really, when we are separated from ourselves, we become more vulnerable. We get part of human design. One of the things that the guy who channeled it said is, you get the body you need when you surrender to your design. That your body will operate. Yeah, your body. I'm gonna tell y'all, like, and when I say the body you need, see, sometimes the body we need is a body that is experiencing or displaying an illness. Because, real quick example, I developed insulin resistance. I took a Taoist class. There's a amazing Taoism teacher. Oh Lord, I love this guy. And when I finally got to analyze and break down what having insulin resistance is, there was a door on my cells that was closed. It would not allow me to eat. It was about worthiness. And it was like, at my cellular level, I didn't deserve to eat. I'm putting food in my mouth, but my cells got the doors closed. And with that, it was a lesson. It was telling me I need to learn how to receive. So I threw my hands up and started receiving. Somebody said, I'm going to give you a compliment. Thank you. I'm going to give you a thing. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Just thank you. Gratitude every day. And my body, that condition started to change. I had stopped eating carbs. I was like, oh, wow, just want a little carb, geez. But like, yeah. So starting to get down underneath, what is this? What is the disease telling you? For me, it was like, oh yeah, you need to work on not only your gratitude, but your ability to receive. I was being a giver. And a lot of times people, oh, I'm a giver. It's better to give than to receive. They've been lying to us. These little sayings, be careful about them little repetitious little sayings, those idiomatic expressions. It's better to give than to receive. How? Because giving and receiving are two parts of one thing. Without one, the other didn't exist. So how can one part be better than the other part? If you don't, they'd be lying to us. So I'm like, okay. So when I'm telling you do it different, I'm tearing down. I'll throw a paradigm away in a minute. I'll throw a belief away in a minute. You got to throw a belief away. Just throw it away. Throw the belief away. You got to throw it down. Because those beliefs will stand in the way. Even down to like my doing different interpretations of honor thy mother and thy father. Let me tell you, your mother and your father are in you, in your genes. The personality, if you know what the root word of persona and personality is, persona is about a mask that sounds come out of. Sona means sound, and this is it's like a megaphone. A personality is not a person. A personality is not the human. The personality is not the anyway. All I'm saying is I honor my mother and my father in my body now. I honor my grandmother and my grandfather, the earth. And I'm grateful for the sun, but I honor the earth. I honor my body. I honor myself. And my thing is, it doesn't mean dishonor the actual people, but it also means that you love unconditionally, but relate conditionally. There's conditions to relating. I'm so sorry. Like some people were like, no, but that's my sister. And I'm like, but my sister crazy, and I'm not about to be around that. Don't be laughing. Oh, wait, but like,
no, I got my own story. It sound like you sound like me talking. I'm like, this is crazy. I mean, it's amazing.
Yeah.
Adrienne.
Yes.
What do you expound more on? I honor my parents in my body now. Explain that a little bit more.
Sure. So it's really interesting. I just recently had a cosmology class. Someone did a human design cosmology class. That was deep. And that's one of those things I think people should get into. So from a cosmological perspective, first of all, when your mother and your father come together and, you have this, yeah, here we go, right? It's bam chicka wow wow. The egg is the basis of your matter. Like what eventually becomes your body is programmed in the egg.
Okay.
And what's in the sperm, see, people don't understand that, X and Y chromosomes are not the same. X chromosomes are big and full of information. This is what the beauty of femininity and womanhood is, that we are the data carriers. We build humans. And it's because of the data inside of the X chromosomes, huge. The Y chromosome, I don't even know why they call it a Y, because it's not even a capital Y. It wouldn't even be a little y. It would be like a subscript Y. Data comparative wise, it would be a subscript. It would be a tiny little Y. So the sperm is actually, I would call it just slightly less feminine. So XX is ultimate femininity. This is woman. And then the sperm is like half woman, half this other, whatever the hell this is, because the Y chromosome is very tiny. But what that Y chromosome is doing, because of its lack of full data, it allows for a storyline to develop. So just follow me here. Your mother's XX is the basis. It's the reason why we all kind of come out. We all look the same. We're roughly 2 arms, 2 legs, a head, ears, eyes, nose. We're roughly, as humans, our materials shape up the same. The morphogenetic field and those XX chromosomes take care of that. So what is the father doing? The father is giving us our patterns. This is why mother is matter, father is pater. Those are the root words. So I honor my body and I honor my natural patterns. Now, a lot of my natural patterns have been repressed and suppressed by even the people who are my actual living parents, right? The people who gave me life repressed my matter and my pattern. Like my father would tell me I was fat, and my mother would tell me, don't be this way, right? So they were even in a lot of ways, okay, y'all don't hear me. They were in a lot of ways disrespecting what they had even given me.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, when I say I honor my mother, I honor my matter, I honor my body, which means I listen to my body. So I don't stress my body out. If I'm around someone and I feel stress hormones start to release, because you can feel it if you start to pay attention, I don't be around those people. This is probably why, like, I do it different. I don't care. Like, y'all, like, life's too short to be miserable. And I'm not about to be around you just because we're related or whatever. These weird relationships you think are important. The real relationship that's important is you and your body. Okay, you and your body. And then I honor my patterns. By honoring my patterns, I pay attention to what I do repeatedly, what brings me joy, and understanding that, yes, my father, that Y chromosome, that I call it the openness, allows me to have a storyline that develops. My body has to develop this way because this is what human bodies look like. That's what the XX takes care of. But my storyline is written, and it's written through my patterns. And that's the father that I honor most. The small patterns and the big patterns. Like every day I wake up and I greet the sun. Every day I wake up and I greet the sun. And that is the beginning that's part of my pattern, my daily pattern. I have cacao every morning because I don't have to wait for a ceremony. I have my cacao ceremony every morning and I drink that deliciousness into my body, and it's delicious and it's healthy. I'm honoring my pattern and I'm honoring my matter. So that's when I say I honor my mother and my father in my body, that's exactly what I mean.
So we were talking, I think yesterday, and we was talking about that scripture that says, train up a child in the way that they should go. And I think where in the church has been used for a certain thing. raised
Yeah.
in church and blah, 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 blah. But I'm seeing what I saw like yesterday, what we were talking about, that today, that all the things for my experience, okay, all the things that in church they told you to stay away from is what would actually show you who that child is, and not in what you want your child to believe, but how the child is.
Yes.
How the child is. And so all these things that the numerology, the astrology, the human design, all of that is so super important that that's almost like the class, how we say that in school, we never learned about paying bills. We never learned about this. We didn't learn our real history and stuff.
Yeah.
Like when you have a child, that should be part of your training, is finding out that human design that you just brought here and going to school to learn that if you didn't learn it. And it should be taught in school about who the child is as they begin to, especially when they start smelling themselves, and you knock them down. Maybe here, we need these kind of classes so you can understand yourself, I can understand you, and you can understand me, and I can understand more about who I am, especially in that I'm your mother, and we're gonna dance together. So
I'd love to hear that. We're gonna dance together.
Yeah.
So one of the things that I wanted to, Mama Raziya, I'm gonna let you go. I'm gonna do this real quick. But one of the things that I look at is that we get the genetic makeup and the judge of our parents, but we don't necessarily have to be who they were or who they are. And so sometimes you talk, your parents will tell you things, but you'll see them do different things,
Yeah.
And sometimes, that's a thing. Mama Raziya, go ahead, baby. Mama Raziya, go ahead. Did you have something to say? I saw your finger talking. I saw your finger.
I really appreciate the discussion this morning, and it's made clear for me when you talk about the pattern versus the basic core, from the mom. I saw a movie some years ago, 15, 20 years ago, and it was called Daddy Hunger.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if you are aware of that particular movie, but it brought so much out in terms of what happens when a human is not able to have the energies from both mom and dad after incarnating, after coming here.
Mm-hmm.
And I lost my father at a very young age. I was about 9 years old.
Oh, wow.
And I've recognized in myself some of the quote, different ways of behaving. I could call them inadequacies or whatever, and just very pointed stuff that I have needed to work on in order to stay in balance.
Yeah.
And I think we don't give enough energy to those issues with ourselves. As we look at society right now, we have a major crisis because of daddy hunger, or the absence of that, the awareness of what happens if that energy is not looked at. And we blame, we take medication, all kinds of punishments and everything, rather than dealing with that issue of the patterning and the absence of having a pattern in our lives. I'd like to, see if what is it that could be suggested for people who are dealing with it. Some of us are not aware of how it affected us. Some of us are a bit aware, but awareness is only part of the issue. You have to what to do.
So I'm going to tell, so it's really interesting. I was kind of talking about this, this cosmology class I just recently did. So if you don't know what cosmology is, it's just like, the origin stories of many religions, like we have like in the Bible, the origin story, in the beginning there was, So, and human design has a cosmology. So that actually happens. There's a mythological, cosmological thing. And I went through this class and then I realized that over and over again, we've seen a pattern, and I'm going to share a pattern with you, and you're going to see something, and then you're going to understand it. I don't think there's anything we can do, because the greater pattern, like we were talking about, like the difference between us and our gut biome, we can't talk to it. Your heavenly Father made the world, and then you haven't seen him. So literally the pattern of what fatherhood is set this way, as in a generative male principle that is there to create the thing, but does not have anything to do with necessarily raising it or making it happen. Even down to the relationship with the sun. So people are like, I say I greet the sun every day. I love the sun, but the sun is loving the earth unconditionally. Isn't that beautiful? Mm-hmm. Makes the plants grow, but also the sun makes deserts, and the sun can kill you. I lived in Las Vegas, and literally you can go on a walk for 20 minutes and feel yourself start to die. I'm like, oh, what is happening? I need more water. I don't like to live in the desert. So all of that to say is that there's been a pattern set, and the pattern set is that the principle of father, the one that helps with that side of reproduction, is destined to be unreachable. Like you can't talk to the sun. The sun can only yell at you. This is how fathers are. You think about distant but loving, make sure everything is taken care of, but sometimes scold you, and sometimes, the unconditional love can hurt. Like that's father. And so the pattern itself is ingrained, I think, as a archetype versus anything that we on a personal level have to do. Now, what I will say, I think that one of the things that, and we're already kind of seeing it happen, is that people having children a little bit later, because we're living longer, right? So having children at 30 versus having children at 20 is good, I think, because people are having much longer lives. So it just, that's what it looks like is happening. And why I say that is because as men get older, the testosterone levels drop and they mellow out. And they actually are better fathers older.
Mm-hmm. I've seen that.
Right. So like my partner, my guy, child, he gave his kids hell. My daughter was like, oh, I'm glad I didn't live with my dad. But now she lives with him and everything's fan-damn-tastic. We're having a great time. But he gave them other two kids are there. Oh man, like I feel bad for his son, especially because he received the brunt of that fatherly attention. Imagine the sun is beaming on you nonstop. You become the desert. It dries you out. Yeah, so I think that, I think these are just greater generalized patterns. And until we can find a healthier way to interact with the pattern, right? So the healthy way to interact with the sun, which is, like I said, unconditionally loving the earth all the time, is you move to a more temperate place. So you don't live in the desert. Now, as people living in the desert, God bless them, it wouldn't be me. You live in a place where the shine of the sun creates conditions that are healthy for you. And I think that for me, what I'm noticing is that, being a little bit older, just a little bit mellower, also how we're raising, like what we define as what does fatherhood and motherhood look like.
Right.
Because I think of like, what is that? Seahorses. That seahorse mama gave them babies to the daddy and I don't know that, but the seahorse daddy be pregnant. She pregnant for a minute and she be like, transfer, boom, them your babies. I'll be done left the baby with a daddy around these parts. I would have, like, if my daughter was not a daughter and just wasn't a delicate projector flower. I didn't know at the time because I didn't know human design when she was little, but I was supposed to keep her. But literally, it might have been different. And I'm like, oh, I would have probably put that poor little kid through hell because he put his son through hell. But I think it was just youth because I see him with his nephew and it's a whole different ball game.
Right. You know what really trips me out? I was sitting one day and I was like, you know what? We don't even know how to be parents until the children come. You don't even know that there's a parent. You don't. There's no. I was like, when I had ISIS, I was going around the house looking under cushions. I was like, now where the book? Did y'all leave the book? Where's the book?
Where's the book?
No boy, no dang book. You gotta write it yourself. And that was something that really tripped me out. And even after having her, when I was thinking, getting my mind ready to go back to work, I was like, I had a baby, and now I'm about to give her to somebody. And then I realized she ain't mine. She just came through me. Takes me to your chat message, Adrienne. I want to read this, if you don't mind. By Khalil Gibran. And a woman who held a babe against her bosom said, speak to us of children. And he said, your children are not your children. They are the sons and daughters of life's longing for itself. Mm-hmm. They come through you, but not from you. And though they are with you, yet they belong not to you. You may give them your love, but not your thoughts, for they have their own thoughts. You may house their bodies, but not their souls, for their souls dwell in the house of tomorrow, which you cannot visit, not even in your dreams. You may strive to be like them, but seek not to make them like you. For life goes not backward, nor tarries with yesterday. You are the bows from which your children as living arrows are sent forth. The archers seek the mark upon the path of the infinite, and he bends you with his might that his arrows may go swift and far. Let your bending in the archer's hand be for gladness. For even as he loves the arrow that flies, so he loves also the bow that is stable.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Relax those shoulders, people. Relax those shoulders.
You like, let it go. Let it go. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Anyone else want to share something? Or that we had a delicious breakfast this morning.
Wait, let me get my napkin.
Well,
yes. I mean,
one thing that I wanted to just have a little bit more dialogue about is your real truth is what you have energy for. I think that statement was made early in our conversation, and it really resonates with me. And just wondered if we could have a little bit more
dialogue
talk about that.
Yeah.
But one of the things is I'm snapping. I'm like, oh, that's sweet. But I'm like, oh, wait, I said that. I don't remember, y'all. All them empty centers. I don't know. I'm saying what's needed to be said. So all I can say is that it's really about that self-awareness. And this is partly why, in human design, in typical human design, they'll say things like, generators are wait for the response. Or they'll say, wait to respond. But I say, wait for the response. Literally, if you don't feel that opening inside of energy, right? And this is why it's really important to try some things out, to feel like before an action, how the energy is feeling inside your body. Like, it's really super personal. The energy is not the energy of the room. It's not the energy of the people around you. It is literally only the energy inside you. Okay. And that is, when I say it's your truth, if you go against your truth, then you end up living a lie. And when you're living in a lie, you end up very unsatisfied with the way you spend your energy. What ends up happening is you're giving your energy, and you are never, when we think of satisfaction is like that feeling of contentment, that feeling of fullness after a meal, the orgasm. I mean, just every time I hear about women having sex and not having orgasms, I just can't even imagine what that would be like. Because I'm like, I've been getting it. Okay, I've been riding around and getting it.
And the
So
faking.
yeah,
Can't do it.
Yeah, and the thing about it is, it's that lack of fulfillment. Or I will say this: I mean, there very, very rarely I will withhold my orgasms for my own creative reasons. But I mean, I still have a good time. But I think that when we think about satisfaction, that's what generators are really here for: to be satisfied at how your energy was spent. And in a lot of ways, it is about the reciprocation of energy. It is about, what do I get back from spending this energy? And it may not even be immediate. Like I've, watched people spend energy on building a business. You don't get the energy back immediately. You're not getting money back immediately. It might take 3 years before you're profitable. So whatever, but they feel satisfied because they are connected to the goal. They have a really strong North Star, why they're doing it. And they feel every day like, I've made a step forward. That's the satisfaction. So when you are spending energy and not feeling satisfaction, eventually the energy will shut down, and then you're forcing it. And that's where you don't want to be, because when you're forcing it, then you are inviting exhaustion, burnout, and enormous amounts of frustration around the process. And even for me, like, I'm a manifester, so for us it's anger. Anger is something being in the way of us doing what we want to do. And when I encounter anger, and I would invite you, if you are a generator, you find out you're a generator, if you encounter frustration, I invite you to explore the nature of the frustration so that you may clear the path to your own satisfaction.
And is it you? Is it somebody else? No. Or is it you? You.
And you got to deal with you. You got to deal with you, because for a lot of, like, if you're a people pleaser, for instance, people pleasing behaviors tend to take us out of strategy, because how am I going to please you if I'm not pleasing me first? And it's not that you can't be like, I'm a servant. I serve other people, but I'm not here as a people pleaser. It's different. It's a different thing. So I hope that elaborated a little bit more on that. The truth is only about the energy that you truly have to spend, because what ends up happening is you go into energetic debt. When you spend, if your sacral does not unfold as a generator, if it doesn't unfold and says, here's the energy, if you don't get that, what you're doing is you're borrowing against future energy. It's energetic debt. We don't do that.
And it's in that statement I just wrote.
Thank you.
That you shared. It's in that statement.
Yeah.
It's in the card we read.
Well, I'm going to have to have a session with you, Adrienne. Sure. Because, and what we're sharing and what Mama Raziya just asked, I was thinking the same thing. In that, what I do, my husband says it all the time. You're a California girl. And something else that you said, because, my ideas and stuff are more California.
Yeah.
Even though I was born in Kansas City, I definitely needed to get out of that. I recognize that. That was, but I'm a California kind of girl with all these ideas and stuff. And I'm only here. And I told my son, I said, if I wasn't married to Philip, we would have been all over the world. We would have traveled in here and there. And so I have to experience that, or I have, or that that missing, shall I say, and trying to make stuff work here in Detroit. Yeah, where I would be gone I would be gone. Yeah.
Yeah.
My ideas are worldwide. They it's just a challenge. And so we got to do something about that.
I'm glad you're here now.
We got to do something about that. I don't want to continue living like that. And
I'm glad you're here now.
what I'm creating, thank you. And what I'm creating includes everybody. That's how I can. I mean, I'm getting this building for a selfish reason. It's a good selfish reason, but it's so that everything that I want to do is right in my walking distance to getting it done. Because I trying to get way over here to get a massage, trying to get way over here to get some vegan food, trying to go way down here. It takes time, it takes money, it takes things that I could be doing somewhere else. And so if I put it all in one building, then all my friends are there and all the services are there that I need for my life to run like I desire that it does. But that what you're saying, I'm like always, I got to get out of here. I want to leave Detroit, to the point where at some point my hip was really bothering me. And I went to Louise Hay's book, and then I recognized that I was always saying, I feel stuck. I feel stuck. I feel stuck. I need to get out of Detroit. I feel stuck. And it started manifesting in my hip, which is my movement. So I had to, watch that and not say that anymore. But I can see in what you were sharing, I'm gonna do this, find out what it is. But I believe that I'm a projector, and I can definitely see it in your explanation about Mama Het, because that is exactly how I deal with her. That's exactly how I deal with her. I call her. I know. I see you're really smart. You're blah blah blah, and you're blah blah blah. Your energy is blah blah blah. Could you do this? And then she gives me her answer like that. So
usually I do like this when people tell me that. I do like this. I'm like, oh.
You see me? You see me?
And when you ask me, I go, yes, yes.
Yeah, I definitely want to stay in touch with all of you, and I would love you. So you're here locally, clearly, and I know you said you're getting some type of building. Like, it may be that we can do some sessions, but I also love to really help people to get into their experiment, because that's the real foundation of human design, is that it's an experiment. Part of the experiment is like, you got to do it different, and then you have to keep account and awareness around how you're feeling around it. A lot of people can like learn all the stuff in human design. Like, I can tell you all the things, but the reality is, until you start experimenting, you don't get to see the thing, the life that your life develops. Like, I literally went through an extraordinary transition in my life. From the way my old life looks versus what it looks like now is like night and day. It's not even the same. The way I show up is different. The way my energy feels is different. And it's all in the experimentation, you know? So yeah, this has been so fantastic. I don't know. I love your group. I love you guys. You ladies have been awesome.
Love you too.
I feel like man, I'm over here squeezing. I got my yoni together today. This has been a very grand rising, and it's been nice being able to share, because I really enjoy human design as complex of a system as it can be. I think a lot of people make it much more complex than it really has to be. For me, it's all about that appreciable difference in the quality of your life, so that you can, just let go of what's not your burden.
Mm.
Yeah.
It's really
wonderful.
beautiful.
So
Really
can you
beautiful.
let us know when you're going to be having another workshop or something that we can attend and support you?
Sure. Like, so here's the thing. I'm in talks right now, so I don't actually have anything nailed down, but I'm looking at possibly November having something local. But if any of you are know of a space or something like that, and I'll definitely keep in touch. I'm always in. Pet can always get in touch with me and all of this, but and you all too. Like you'll get my contact information. What I want to do is probably some more like basic human design stuff just so people can get into their experiment, and then we'll take it from there. So I don't have anything planned right now. If it were up to me, I'm probably not going to be able to do anything that I plan until the beginning of the year, so probably early 2023.
Okay, thank you.
2 weeks away. It's about 2 weeks away.
I know, it's like right around the corner.
October. Why are we in the middle of October right now? I'm like, what? I mean, I appreciate it, but dog,
it's so fast. Oh, but what I will say is like, because I'm looking at a few venues. So there's a place called Centerpiece. I think it's in Bloomfield. It's beautiful. And then there's some places more central to the city. So really right now I'm seeking out a venue. So if any of you have ideas for a venue, let me know about that. Because if I can find a venue, I'll handle the tech from that.
I'm curious. And I think probably Queen Adoni and Mama Het, Mama Raziya, Mama Evelyn, those who are participating in my benefit luncheon and conference for cancer patients. I'm curious as to what you all think about the appropriateness, possible appropriateness of age. Is it Adrienne or Adriana?
Adrienne.
Adrienne, thank you. Doing a mini workshop at that event. How does that, what do you guys think?
I think that'd be good, Mama Juanita. Hey, girl.
Hey, twin.
I'll share the information with you.
Yeah.
Through Facebook, Adrienne, and see how it feels in your spirit. If you feel like it will be a fit, and we'll see. Get those who are, figure out if it's a fit and what we have to do to make it happen.
Absolutely.
If it's not a fit, I totally understand, and I look forward to whatever is a fit.
Well, here's my thing. I'm one of my deepest passions is supporting. I love supporting women, period, but supporting people, and through difficulty, I know that it's something I can do. So yeah, I would love to know more details, and we'll see what we can come up with. I mean, I've just enjoyed you all so much.
Thank you for all you have shared. This is rich.
Yeah, we enjoyed you too.
Fantastic.
Yeah. And I have a loft that is, we've done all kinds of different workshops and so it is totally available. So we will talk. Did I talk to you before? Okay.
No, we haven't. It was so funny because I was like, yeah, I'm like, messaging with Het. She's like, we're on in a minute. I'm like, yep, I'm getting on. I'm like, wait, I've not talked to anybody. but here I am.
There was, and I asked because I thought you were the sister that I had spoken to. I think Raziya might have. She is about finances and such. Raziya, do you know?
Yeah, that's Jacqueline. Yeah.
Okay, so she's still going to come on maybe next week or something?
Yes, she's scheduled.
Yeah.
October 25th.
Awesome. It has been such a joy. I sent a text out. I said, you sisters need to get on here. This is new stuff. And if you can't get on, then make sure that you listen to the listen to it on the because it's recorded in the archives. And I also want to just encourage all of us who are, especially the ones that are here all the time, and the leaders, that people are watching the archives. People are, as a matter of fact, the sister that joined us from the UK, she watches them all the time. But this was funny because I was at one of her events, and they were all white, because she's white and black, right? So she said, she's telling the white people, the white lady, and I'll send you, and then maybe you can join. I'm like, whoa, no, wrong audience. Get some. No, baby, this is from the mama side of you, not the daddy side.
Stop it, Queen of Duty.
You don't know what topic might come up, and if it's like bam, 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 and so I now you don't really want to invite them to that anyway. But people are watching, and I've heard this from quite a few people, that they go on and they check out, and then I listen to this, and then I listen to that, and I'm like, wow. So the work is being done and being spread out there, and we're going to, I know Mama Hep is going to call you on many other times, because the information that you have is so valuable. I would love to have you and sponsor you at my space. My space, you would love it. My space, to me, is like that background on you, behind you. It's a loft, it's wood, it's natural. We have upstairs where we could prepare something, and we can just do any amount of time. We can just do a workshop, and
yeah, it's nice. It's really
have
nice.
others that complement what you're doing. But we can do just a 2-hour, or we could do an 8-hour. Why? Because it's my space.
You're like, I can do it.
Love that. God bless the child who's got her own, right?
For sure.
Yes.
And so I'd love to learn more. But as a business owner and a leader of a lot, especially this project that's coming up, I must understand myself.
Yes.
I must understand myself and line my life up with joy.
Yes.
Yeah, with joy.
Yes.
Joy.
For sure.
So, Raziya, you want to have your last words between the three of you, the team, and then we'll close it out. Mama Het, you can do the closes out.
Well, we just want to give thanks for the session that we've had today. Sister Adrienne, this has been a very special day for me in listening to what you have shared, and I'm looking forward to getting involved. I'm so thankful for Sister Het and Sister Deitra for carrying this forward and having such a rich experience. Such a rich experience today.
Yes.
So thank you.
All right, sisters, it is time. It is time for us to embrace ourselves. We are give yourself a good look. Reach around as far as you can. Get the shoulder blades if you can. Reach as far around and squeeze your yawny. Meow, meow, meow. Squeeze and open up and hug the world.
Hug the world. Oh, get some love. Throw that love out there.
All right, you all. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for making this a special moment, Adrienne. It was a joy to hear about your life journey. I'm excited. We have got to talk. All right, love y'all. Have a
Thank
great
you
day.
all. Love you. Peace and blessings.
Have a good day.
Thank you, Queen.
Peace and
Bye,
love.
Elizabeth. I didn't even say the word. Bye, Elizabeth.
Bye,
And
precious.
so
Love
long,
you.
so long.